Well, what is going on? Welcome. Good evening to the Mafia, as Spin081 keeps saying in the comments section, in the chat section. 17 hours to go. 17 hours to go before the Buffalo Bills host the Houston Texans right here in Orchard Park, New York, Buffalo, New York. It's going to be a 70-degree day. I promise you, there's going to be rain. There's going to be wind. There's going to be weather. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a quarterback. I don't want to say who is impervious to rain, wind, and weather, but we have a quarterback who is most certainly capable of handling those conditions. Welcome into the Bills Mafia Time to Shine show here on the Buffalo Rumblings Multicast Network. My name is Joe Miller. I am the host of the Time to Shine. It's good to have you. I'm excited to have you with me. This is the format for the show. This is a pregame show. This is an opportunity for me to kind of get my pregame notes out there to the world, to Bills Mafia. It's also an opportunity for you, Bills Mafia, to join me live right here on the show. All you've got to do is click the link that I just put out. I believe it went out to all the platforms. It's showing me right now that it just went to Facebook and to YouTube. If you don't have the link, let me know, but I'm going to hit it again and just kind of see what happens and see if it goes to all of them. I don't know if the other ones are not caught up yet, but we'll see. But this is what you do. You click on that link, whatever platform you're on, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and from there you'll enter the green room, as StreamYard likes to call it. And then when I get time, I'll bring you on the show live with me. You'll give me your prediction. If you've got a hot take, you're going to give me a hot take. As Jim Rome likes to say, have a take, do not suck. I hate to steal that from Jim, but it's a really good tagline. Have a take, and do not suck. I've already got a couple folks in the green room, in the queue, waiting to jump on with me live. But before we do that, I want to give you just some quick monologue notes, what I've got going on in my head, rolling around, if you will, before this game tomorrow. The Bills come in having outscored their opponents 71-21 in the last two football games. Clearly, we're all aware of what happened against the Steelers. They're averaging, I think, 31 points per game in the last 8 or 9 games that they've played. Josh Allen has clearly found himself. I think we would all agree that Josh Allen has found, or at least in the last game, regained his 2020 form. Emmanuel Sanders, in his presser this week, talked at length about just, wow, Josh, you really seem to be dialed in to what the defense is trying to do, to what, you know, the at that point in time, the Washington football team is trying to do against you. For the rest of us, it's like, yeah, that's my boy Blue. That's Josh Allen. Like, that's the guy I remember all last season. So Allen has found himself. The run game looks to be progressing. I think we would all probably agree that it still has not yet arrived. And I would say this. I think it's pretty, what's the word? Unanimous that with the talent that we have up front, with the talent that we have in the running back room, there's probably not much more that we're going to be able to ask for outside of what we've been given, right, by this Buffalo Bills football team thus far. And even when I say that, there is room for improvement, but I'm going to give you a little bit of information. The Buffalo Bills so far in 2021, Pittsburgh, Miami, Washington, they've rushed for 382 yards on the season. That's everybody. They're averaging about 127 yards per game, and the Buffalo Bills are spreading it around, which is great. They're averaging just under 30 carries a game at around 4.34 yards per carry, which, to be honest with you, in the NFL, will win football games. As I rewatched the game from last Sunday, the Washington game, one of the announcers was actually talking about how a lot of those short passes that Josh Allen likes to throw to Cole Beasley and some of the others are like run plays. And they are, just in case anybody's wondering. And we have found, and I've been a big proponent and very loud about the fact that Josh Allen is at his best when he's finding Cole Beasley early for those 1s, 2s, 3-yard passes and loosening up that defense a little bit. And by that, I think what that means is bringing those linebackers in, if you will. Quick news, John Feliciano, Jordan Poyer are out for this football game. They are not going to play. So we're going to see Ike Bucker more than likely filling in for John Feliciano. For Jordan Poyer, we're looking at Jaquan Johnson, Damar Hamlin to fill in. And I'm excited to see these guys play because when we talk about and we think about Poyer and Hyde, it's funny because these guys have become anchors, staples for this defense. They've become guys that we can't imagine even not being on this football team, right? Meanwhile, they're in like their 9th or 10th year of their career. So, the NFL is a limit. Like, it's a short draw. Not everybody's Tom Brady. In fact, there's only one Tom Brady, 22, 23 years in the NFL. Generally speaking, I think the average life spans for a running back in the NFL is 4 years. It's probably similar for a defensive back, maybe a little bit longer. So when you consider 9 years for what Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde have done, it's impressive. And for me, I'm excited to see what some of these young guys can kind of bring to this whole entire thing. So we're going to get to see Jaquan Johnson, DeMar Hamlin. The Bills have also elevated Cam Lewis to the main roster, which is curious. If you ask me, a little bit curious. You have to wonder at this point in time, what the status of Taron Johnson. Like, I always call him Taron. It's not Taron, it's Taron. I know better than that. It's Taron Johnson and his groin. Real quick, as again, you guys are filling up the queue list, which is great. I've got the injury report from the Buffalo Bills from, I believe, either yesterday or today. You can kind of see what's going on there. Feliciano out as you look at the game status. Taron Johnson questionable. F.A. Obata questionable. Jordan Poyer out. I think that we could probably surmise with Cam Lewis being elevated that more than likely we're not going to see Taron Johnson. Maybe even just for precautionary reasons. Maybe just for the reason that the Buffalo Bills want to, right? Like maybe sit him, get him some rest. Who knows at this point in time? I'll be surprised if we see him just with Cam Lewis being elevated. Real quick as we get into this thing. Real quick. The Houston Texans. Well, Joe, what about the Houston Texans? What can you tell us? It's crazy to me to think where this football team was just 2 years ago. 2 years ago, the Houston Texans defeated the Buffalo Bills in a playoff game. Starting for them were Deshaun Watson, DeAndre Hopkins, J.J. Watt, guys with those names, legitimate superstars in the NFL. Superstars. Crazy to realize how far that football team has fallen. Crazy how far that football team has fallen. Coming into this game, the Houston Texans, the first game of the season, rushing-wise, they've rushed for 160 yards in game 1, 82 yards in game 2 against the Browns, 42 yards in game 3 against the Panthers. That's not a great stat if you're a Houston Texans fan or a coach. Tyrod Taylor, we all know and love Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod passed in game 1, first game of the season, 291 yards, 2 touchdowns, rushed for 40 yards. We clearly know nobody is more intimately in tune with Tyrod Taylor than the Buffalo Bills, or I should say the Bills Mafia. I've never met a person that doesn't like Tyrod Taylor that's a Bills fan. And the funny thing is there's a lot of conversation out there about the Bills moving on from Tyrod after he broke the drought, quote unquote, broke the drought. I like to actually think that he was on the team that broke the drought. He was a part of that team. I don't know that he was responsible for breaking the drought, especially when you look at now what Josh Allen does and how he can single-handedly take control of a football game. But Tyrod Taylor, 291, 2 touchdowns in that first game, rushed for 40 yards, was out in game 2. The hamstring is out for this game. He's on temporary IR. Davis Mills is going to be making his second start as an NFL pro. 3rd-round draft pick out of Stanford. The first game against the Browns, he threw for 102 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. In his week 3 matchup, his very first start in the NFL, he threw for 168 yards, 1 touchdown. This is what I would tell you about Davis Mills. What I think you would probably expect to see tomorrow, with a little bit of an asterisk, because their head coach has said that they're going to be opening up, right, the offense for this kid, which is surprising to me considering they're playing in Buffalo in front of our crowd in the rain. So we'll see. But I believe that this kid is accurate. He can throw on the move and off platform a little bit. He's a big kid, 6'4". I think he's 222. They're going to have to open the offense, in my opinion, for him, because there's no way the Texans defense can hold the Bills under 21, in my opinion. However, I would tell you this, I wouldn't probably take him lightly. There was an element of calmness in his football game against the Panthers. He didn't look rattled. He didn't look like glitchy. He didn't look, his feet weren't moving all over the place. There was a great deal of, he was just kind of settled. And there was times when he took the defense gave him, and there was times when, the Panthers defense was dropping back. Actually, they dropped back a lot in that football game. And when they dropped back, he was hitting the underneath routes, which is pretty much what the Panthers wanted him to do. But I wouldn't necessarily take him lightly. Do I think he can beat the Bills single-handedly, come into Buffalo and beat us? No. Can the Bills beat themselves? Absolutely. That's absolutely possible. Starting his first football game, as I said a second ago, on the road as a pro in Buffalo in the weather. Clearly, this football team is a different team with Tyrod Taylor as the quarterback. There's the threat of the run. Tyrod is a dangerous weapon, both throwing the ball and running the ball. There's a measure of Tyrod playing that just opens up an offense and kind of puts a defense on its heels a little bit, right? They've got the spy out there. Defenses have to spy Tyrod, so they kind of lose a guy on defense. So now it's 11 versus 10, right? And the reality is Tyrod Taylor is an effective quarterback. He isn't necessarily the guy that's going to take you to the Super Bowl, and he's not, what do I want to say? He's not Josh Allen, right? He's not, at this point, Justin Herbert. He's not Aaron Rodgers. He's not Patrick Mahomes. But he's a viable quarterback in the NFL when he's healthy. However, what we've seen so far from Davis Mills is he's legit kind of had the training wheels on. Again, we have this idea, this notion, the words of the head coach, Cullen, that they're going to open it up a little bit for him, ask him to do more stuff, play action probably, some motion stuff, things like that. The Texans have also had 10 days to prepare for the Buffalo Bills. 10. That's a lot. 10 days. Makes me a little nervous. Not a lot nervous, a little bit nervous. And before I jump to the people that are in the queue, because this is, again, a call-in show. I want you guys to be a part of this show. And you can do that by just clicking that link that I just dropped. They've got a couple names on this football team that you will recognize. No, not Deshaun Watson. No, not, DeAndre Hopkins, not J.J. Watt, but Brandon Cooks, David Johnson, Phillip Lindsay, Mark Ingram, Rex Burkhead. What's funny to me is they bring a stable of running backs of guys that if you play fantasy football, you're very familiar with these guys, right? Ingram last year with the Ravens, Burkhead, former Patriot, Lindsay with the Dolphins, David Johnson, formerly with the Cardinals, been with the Texans for a little while. They've got some talent in that running back room. On defense, Christian Kirksey, they're basically their anchor for that defense is a linebacker. I would say this, and then I'm going to jump over to Saxon Dave, who is in the queue already. He was actually here early. I think he was here about 5 minutes early, all the way from the UK. If the Buffalo Bills take the Texans lightly, they could surprise us. Do I think the Texans can beat the Buffalo Bills? No, they're not a very good football team. They don't have a very good head coach. But if the Bills take them lightly, and if they're looking past this football game to the Chiefs, it could be a problem. And my guy, Jay Spence the King, jumping on me already. Andre Roberts. Why must you forget Andre Roberts? In my defense, he hasn't had the best season so far this year. But in Spence's defense, I am, as is Spence, a huge Andre Roberts fan. My guy Apex says the same thing that the O-line is suspect, and they are. But we're going to get to the meat of the show and the reason that we're all here. We're going to get to you, the Mafia, and I might just start every single show this season with my guy Saxon Dave, all the way from the United Kingdom, and I love that the background is beginning to fill out. Like every week, there's some added stuff.
Still set it up nicely.
Still got the bathrobe because it's what, 1 o'clock in the morning there, right?
1:15, yeah. So good morning and happy game day to you, because it's officially game day in the UK.
It's officially game day in the UK. My brother Saxon Dave. You can find him on Twitter at Saxon Dave. Big fan of the show, big fan. I'm a fan of you. You're a fan of me. We're just fans of each other, brother. It's your time to shine. This is your moment, brother. What do you got for me for this football game?
Well, pretty much the same you said, to be honest with you. On paper, we should, I wouldn't say destroy him, but it's definitely stacked in our favour. Interesting to see, it's with Feliciano out, what the O-line is going to look like. But to be fair, we can win this in the trenches all day long. As you said, Mills' second start as a QB effectively is a third-string QB.
Right.
Watson's out. Tyrod's out. Tyrod even is out. So he's the third string QB. Like it's the first road game. We should just D-line should get after him and just hurry him, rush him, sack him all day long. I can't see us beat. I can't see us losing to this team. I've said that before and we've lost, but we'll see what happens. But they've got what realistically, like they've got some good running backs, but what have they done so far this season? Nothing.
Right. Week one, the last preseason game, which is always that, like, you know, that preview for the season or the tune-up game, and the first game of the season, they did well rushing the football. Since then, it's been a heavy decline.
Yeah, this is the 2021 Bills D. That run defense is back up there being good again. So last year I might have been worried, but not really anymore. All they've got really, Cooks does what, like a third of their offensive targets. That's it, really. Their whole offense revolves around him. So I can see one of the Johnsons, whichever one plays. I can see a pick six coming in this game. Really can see a pick six coming.
Pick six. You love that pick six, bro. You're always baited.
You've got to love defense. You've got to love defensive scores or special teams. I can see Josh getting Offensive Player of the Week again, second week in a row.
Yeah.
Big days for pretty much same as last week. Big days for all the receivers. I think Knox and Moss should have a good game as well. I can't. The only position we're actually semi-level on is special teams.
Right.
As you said, I love Andre Roberts, but he hasn't had the best of years so far. Full respect for the guy for what he did to us. Hopefully he picks his season up, but not till after next week.
Yeah, for sure. I love it. So did you give me a final score prediction?
38-10.
38-10. I like that number. I'm close. I haven't given it yet, but I'm actually close to that number. And then give me a Josh Allen stat line before I let you go, Dave.
Again, similar to last week. I think he'll throw for 3, run one in, and 350.
350. I like it. I'll be interested to see if the Bills rely on the pass as much in this football game, but it would not surprise me if they do, because that's who they are. They are a passing football team. And if Josh Allen's on, why would you not just let him sling it, right?
You know what Josh is like. He's going to take those big shots, and he's definitely going to get the situations where they can complete a couple.
It's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. Brother, I appreciate you being a fan of the show. I appreciate you being on the show and contributing to the show, staying up this late. I know that it's late over there. It's now 1:18, right? So if the clock on my computer is right, it's 1:18 out there in the UK. Bills Mafia all the way across the pond. Saxon Dave, love you, bro. Go Bills.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Go Bills.
Go Bills. Yep. That is Saxon Dave. He's my guy. And Dave is I say it all the time. Like, Dave is an early adopter to my show and to just all the stuff that I've done. And I can't say enough about that dude. And I love that he goes pick six every single week. Because this defense has that capability. They have the ability to go pick six every week, but I just love that he is on the pick six bandwagon. Next up from the queue, Nautica Hears, I believe is what it's called. Nautica, what's up, brother?
What's up, Joe?
Oh, sister. Sorry, my bad.
Sorry. You're good.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm a big fan. I listen to your podcast all the time.
Thank you so much.
These live streams, so
no,
excited.
That's awesome. Where are you at? Are you in Buffalo? Where are you at?
Yeah, I'm from Lockport, little north.
Lockport.
Buffalo, yeah.
My best friend in the entire world, my former band member, drummer for my band, lives in Lockport. His name is Rich Koval. You probably don't know him.
Probably not.
but still, I've been to Lockport many, many, many times. It's a wonderful town. So yeah, awesome. Very good. So do me a favor. Do you have a take? What do you have for me and all of Bill's Mafia for tomorrow's football game?
So I know it's supposed to rain, I think, most of the day. So I think we're going to go more of a running attack for this game. That's my opinion. So I think it's going to be set. Yes, last week was Moss kind of game. I think this week's going to be Singletary type of game. So I'm thinking maybe 120.
Nice.
Is that I think overall, we're going to run it.
Overall or just on the ground, Singletary 120?
On the ground, maybe 40 in the pass. But
you're calling Singletary overall for 160 yards tomorrow. Total offense.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah. Big fan. RB1.
RB1. I love it. It's hard to decide between the two, right?
I mean, I think you just still go with balance. I don't really think there's a point of one or the other. They're
right.
both complementary to each other. They're the same type of back. So I think you just keep them both and just do what you do. Look at the Ravens. 2 years ago when they had Ingram and who's the other one? I can't think. But it's the same type of thing. Just keep them both.
Well, Ingram's in Houston now, but yeah, it was Ingram and J.K. Dobbins last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're actually going to bring to us tomorrow. They're going to bring at us like a four-headed monster between Burkhead, Ingram, David Johnson. As I just said a second ago, and I'm missing somebody off the top of my head, but they're going to bring it to us tomorrow. With
Lindsey.
It was Philip Lindsay. That's right.
Yeah.
And Philip Lindsay's a handful for an undrafted kid. True. He was a handful in Denver.
He's the only one that's not really washed, I think. The other three, I'm not really worried.
You might be right. So what do you got for a Josh Allen score prediction?
I think Josh is going to go 325, 3 touchdowns, 1 running.
I like it. I'm close. I haven't given my number yet, but I'm actually close on this. I absolutely love. So I love, and I apologize at the top, but I love how many Bills Mafia members that are females are just all in on this football team and these content shows. I probably need to stop being surprised by it. That you guys are involved and so in tune with what this and being a part of these shows. It's absolutely freaking incredible. So I appreciate it for
years. So I've loved the Bills, love everything about them.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you being a part of the show. I appreciate you jumping in. Come back next week, legit. Come back next week. So I appreciate you, Nautica. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Enjoy the game tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yep. That's awesome. So I'm right there with her on a lot of her takes. As far as I'm not going to give you what I've got for Josh Allen yet. We'll do that more towards the end of the game. I love the take about Devin Singletary having himself a game tomorrow. Love that take. If I'm going to sneak a little bit of what I've got coming for you in the wake of my Bills predictions, I have the Bills focusing a little bit on the ground game tomorrow. I think there will be a 100-yard rusher tomorrow in this football game. Whether it's Devin Singletary or Zach Moss, we don't know. I think it's going to be Devin Singletary. I think they're going to probably work him quite a bit. So I'm excited to see that. So I'm right there with Nautica. That was an awesome take. Next up from the queue, my guy JA17 MVP, which is actually Justice from Built in Buffalo. Justice, how tall are you, Justice?
6'10".
I don't mean to laugh, but you a big old boy.
Man, it's the truth. I've been big my whole life, so I'll take any offense or anything.
My best friend from college. I went to college in Springfield, Missouri, and I got there as a junior. I went to community college. I went to ECC first, which I don't know if you're familiar with ECC. I went to ECC first, and then junior year I went to sight unseen. Drove to Springfield, Missouri, Evangel University. Walked into the dorm, Lewis Hall, and the first person I met was Caleb Horner, 6'10", center for the basketball team, and I was just like. Literally, and Caleb and I have been best friends since. Literally that day we met, and we've been close ever since then. So I got a lot of love for the big old boys. So
you're honestly, big old boy. To be honest, it's I don't even recognize it because I've been big my entire life. But then sometimes I'll get a glimpse of a mirror and I'm next to somebody. I'm like, wow, that's a big difference.
That's hysterical. How are you feeling about this football game?
I mean, I'm feeling about as good as as I should. So I just made a Bills Texans hype video, and honestly, man, reliving the whole thing, with the Texans, the playoff loss, and everything 2 years ago, it really is heartbreaking. All of that went down. So I have a little bit of animosity, just a little bit. I know the Texans aren't necessarily good right now, but I do want us to go out there and put our feet on their throat, you know what I mean? I just yeah.
So I said last week on the Overreaction postgame show that the Buffalo, and I think I carried it through with Fina, and I carried it through with Sterling, who was filling in for Spence on the Hump Day Hotline this week. The Buffalo Bills are literally at the point now where they should beat the team. They should beat the teams that they're supposed to beat, and that's kind of how I feel about this game. It's how I felt about last week, right? Mm-hmm. However, I'm not sure. Are we in a situation where the Bills are that? And I asked this to Sterling last week. Furrow, from Cover One. Are the Bills that good, or is their schedule this easy? What are your thoughts?
I saw somewhere that we have the fourth weakest remaining schedule after coming off of a win to Washington and then a Miami game, who aren't that good as far as records go this year. Right. I would say that put us in like the top 5 easiest schedules, and even the Steelers, because even though they beat us, they still suck otherwise. So yeah, we probably have one of the easier schedules in the league. So I mean, yeah, but then again, even if we didn't, we're still that top 3 team in the league range, to the point where we should beat anybody who comes across us anyway.
Yeah, for sure. Real quick, and I should have done this at first. You are a content creator. I did say that you were built in Buffalo, who are friends of mine, Dave and Akeem. Do me a real quick favor. Just tell everybody what you do, what you host, and where people can find you before we keep talking.
That's a lot. I'm sick of time. Okay, so first of all, I do some highlight videos and stuff like that on the Built in Buffalo YouTube page. I have a podcast, the Wind Chill Factor podcast, comes out every Tuesday. I have a live show with my buddy Caveman. We do it every Wednesday, a live home field advantage. First round by another live show with my buddy Jake Jordan and Izzy, that comes out every Friday. And then Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all that for Built in Buffalo. So I'm working, man. I'm trying to be like you, Joe.
Broke? You're trying to be broke, just like me. No, I appreciate that. And it's just, you're just embracing the grind is all you're doing. Yeah. Absolutely. You, me, Spence, all of us are, we're all embracing the grind. It's just, we don't do it for the paycheck. We do it because we love the Bills. Right. And at the end of the day, we love the interaction. So it's the Don Keiths of the world, right? It's the Joshua Barrett.
I love Don.
Right. It's Amanda Davey, right? Amanda Davey's in the room. It's Jason Taylor. It's all these guys. I mean, it's everybody that's in the room right now. That's the reason that we do it. We don't do it because we're bored. We don't do it because we want attention necessarily. There are some guys out there that might be a little bit ego driven. You don't strike me as that guy. I'm not that guy. Spence isn't that guy. You can pick those guys out of a lineup, especially by the Twitter feed normally, by the things that they tweet, if they're kind of ego driven. But Is there anything about this Texans game that scares you a little?
I mean, because to be honest, I didn't even realize we were playing the Chiefs next week until somebody told me recently, because I don't look ahead on the schedule. Kind of like, I hope. Appreciate that, Spence. Appreciate that, man. I hope the Bills aren't, and I don't think they are, but obviously we play the Chiefs next week, and this could be a trap game. You know what I mean?
Right.
I really don't want that to happen. I kind of want Josh to go out there and just like lose his mind again, kind of how he did Washington. So, I mean, the Texans aren't a bad defense. They're actually pretty decent, better than people give them credit for. But I don't think they have the pieces that would be able to do anything to stop what we have on offense.
I'm going to keep you on for a little bit just because I know you do film study. Just for those that might be new to me, and those of you that don't know a guy like Justice, I'm a fan's fan. I don't watch film. I watch the Bills game 3-4 times. I do watch the highlights from last week's game for our next opponent. So I've got opinions. I watch a lot of preview stuff. I take a lot of other people's information. So I'm not an X's and O's guy. I don't claim to be. I don't want to be. I'm a fan first. My show is about bringing the emotion from the couch to you or to everybody Sunday night post game. How I felt is hopefully how everybody felt, and I'm just going to call it like I see it. And then I let you guys all figure it.
John Fina on it,
right. And then I let you guys all figure it out later in the week. Like, I'm not supposed to be right on Sunday. I'm just telling everybody how I feel, and feelings aren't always right. It just is what it is. All that to say this: you have watched, I'm guessing, studied some film on Davis Mills. When he was comfortable in the pocket, again. Go ahead. You have not. Gotcha. Well, I was gonna press you a little bit just on Davis Mills, because as I watched a little bit and listened, he didn't strike me, especially in that Panthers game, like he was skittish. He didn't strike me as the stage was too big. He didn't strike me as being rushed to the point where he was almost like what we saw Sam Darnold do as a Jet. When Sam Darnold was a Jet, he was not cool as a cucumber, right? That whole seeing ghost things. A lot of times he was doing some stuff, making bad decisions. Davis Mills didn't look like that to me. What have you seen or what have you heard from Davis Mills? I'll ask you that way. Have you heard, done, seen, read anything about Davis Mills?
Absolutely. So I think Davis Mills' biggest problem is his lack of weapons, right? Obviously, if you look at the Houston Texans offense, their entire passing offense is basically Brandon Cooks.
Right.
So I think that's really his biggest problem. You look at what Tyrod was able to do. Tyrod was able to actually do pretty damn well.
Yeah.
So he did pretty good. And then Davis Mills came in, and I think he's just trying not to lose games. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a game manager for sure.
Absolutely. So he's trying to be that game manager. Their rushing attack is absolutely dreadful. So with that being said, there's not very much the offense can do. You got a rookie quarterback. The rushing attack isn't working at all. I think they average like 2.5 yards a carry.
Yeah, it's not great.
And then Brandon Cooks is really your only receiving threat. I don't think Davis Mills is like a bad quarterback. I definitely don't think he's able to flourish or show what he can do in his Houston offense by any means.
Well, it's the Houston offense. It's his head coach, his offensive coordinator. It's Buffalo, right? In the rain. I mean, at first start on the road. He's got a lot against him. If he wins, if they pull out a victory in this football game and he's the reason that they pull out a victory, I mean, he by all means deserves all the run he's going to get on all the national media shows this week, for sure. There's something I wanted to throw up, but I can't remember what it was now. It was back here in the comments. It is what it is. It's funny because they go so fast that you just kind of lose them, which I know you're very familiar with. Let's do this. Do me a favor. What do you got for hot take tomorrow?
Hot take. That's a good question. Let's go this. So the Bills have a top 3 defense in the NFL as of right now.
Now,
just based on everybody we played, zipping the Dolphins. I think 16 from Pittsburgh and 21 from Washington, and one of those was in garbage time, so it really shouldn't even been like that. And then another one was off of that fluke screenplay that will never happen again. And then ironically, the other one was off of the fluke special team play that will never happen again.
Right.
So I mean,
I don't know. Matt Hawk has not sped up his delivery of the football on punch yet.
No. The kickoff.
The kickoff. Yeah. My bad. Yeah. There was a hold on that play, by the way.
I actually didn't see that.
Yeah. So 76 was a hold of, I think it was Rousseau, had a hold of Rousseau and let him go just at the end, and it should have been flagged and came back. And yeah, anyway, sorry, I digress.
No, you're good. But I want our defense to come away. I want our defense to really embarrass this rookie, right? It's in the rain. The running game is putrid. In Frazier and McDermott, they put people in positions to succeed, right? If you have the talent to play football and you come to the Buffalo defense, you will be in a position to make a play, right? No matter what position you play. So I want our safeties, cornerbacks, linebackers, even to come away with 3+ interceptions. Okay, that's my hot take.
3, and that's with Poyer out. You want 3.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think it's impossible. The concern I have is just from the little bit of film study that I did, and I don't do a lot. Mills looks like an accurate passer. Can he hold the ball too long? Yes, but normally when he holds the ball too long, it results in a sack versus him making a poor decision like we saw Heineke do last week. So it'll be interesting if they talk to him this week about speeding up the process and getting the ball out. They could force him into 3 interceptions.
See, my reasoning for that is because I actually really, really like Taylor Heineke. I think he's a pretty good quarterback. He has the tools, he has the speed, the athleticism, the arm. He throws an accurate football. So although Davis Mills, to everything you said, I agree with. I don't think he's gonna make too many mistakes, but at a certain point, because the Bills' offense is high powered, they're gonna score points.
Yeah, for sure.
So at a certain point, you're going to have to take chances in order to try to make some sort of comeback or whatever the case may be. And I think he's going to try to squeeze the ball into some holes that really might not be there. Obviously our defense is really good for, playing their zones really tough and not letting too many soft spots. And I think he's going to do what Taylor Heineke did last week, which is press and try to make some plays that maybe aren't there. And I want our defense to go ahead and take advantage of that.
That's awesome. I love it. And what do you got for Josh Allen's stat line?
Okay, so I'll go because last week I said 325 and I wanted to say 350, but I wimped out, right? So I'm going to go 375. I'm going to go 4+ touchdowns only because on First Take they said that he wouldn't do 4 touchdowns, and that made me mad. So I'm going to go 4+ touchdowns, 2 running, 3 passing, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm going to go 370. Let's go 400 total yards. Okay.
Yeah, 400. That's incredible. And I'll get, as soon as I drop you off, which will be here in a second, I'll give everybody what my stat line prediction is. So stick around for that. Justice, come around anytime.
Absolutely, bro. I didn't know you did this. Like, I saw it. I'm like, that's a great idea. I'm like, gotta come support my man. Joe.
Don't you steal it. Don't you steal my idea. No. So, like, literally when Jay Spence and I first started doing this whole YouTube thing, and we did it on Fanatics, we were told, whatever you do, don't give the link out to anybody. And it just got to the point where it's like, why not?
Right.
Like, I have control. So, like, if somebody comes on and starts swearing or saying stupid stuff, I can remove them from the stream. Mm-hmm. So I have a feeling that it won't be very long, as much as this is the first, quote unquote, first Bills Mafia call-in show via StreamYard, which you guys use, we all use StreamYard. Fanatics uses it, Cover One uses it, everybody uses it. My guess is there'll be more in the future. But yeah, this is a lot of fun for me. Like, it's fun to get to put a voice and a face to a lot of the names that are in the comment section, which I'm sure you get because you do these shows all the time, whether it's Don Keith or whoever else, Lone Wolf, all these guys that are in the comment sections all the time. Right. So, but yeah, dude, like, don't be a stranger. Like, jump on anytime.
I appreciate it. This is a great idea. You already know you're one of my favorite people. So I appreciate you throwing me up here, bro.
Big dog. I appreciate you, dude. We'll talk to you soon. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills. So the lines are open, and that was Justice from Built in Buffalo. If you are looking for content, if you're looking for good content, Justice is one of those places you want to go. He's a good dude. His head is on straight, I would say. He doesn't make takes just to make a take, and sometimes takes are made and you're like, I'm not sure about that take. Justice is usually pretty level-headed as far as that goes. So I would seek out Justice as much as you possibly can. The lines are open. There's nobody in the queue right now. So I'm going to put it out there again for the Mafia. And if you are, there's a whole bunch of people in the comment section. There's a whole bunch of people watching this thing. Jump in here. Amanda Davey, jump in here. Don Keith, jump in here. Let me know what you think about this football game. Robbie is up in here. Joshua Barrett, all you guys. Justin Paradis. If you're watching right now, jump in the queue. We got like 20 minutes left before the chop up. The chop up was coming up right after this. That's another thing that a lot of these content creators don't do, or I should say networks don't do. They don't stack shows. Well, Buffalo Rumblings is stacking shows. We've got this show on Saturday, followed by the chop up with Jay Spence the King, Sterling Furrow's on there, Kristen Kimmick's on there, Angelina's on there from the Bills Mafia Babes. So do me a favor, jump in right now if you've got something to say, if you've got a hot take, you got a game prediction, or if you just want to say hi. I don't mind it if you jump in and say hi. Tomorrow, this football game. Hang on a second. This football game, I expect to see the Buffalo Bills work the run game. And this came from Nautica Here's earlier. I kind of said it before. I don't have a way that I think it's going to go, meaning I don't know if it's Devin Singletary. I don't know that it's Zach Moss. I think the Buffalo Bills will very much work the hot hand, right? Hot hand. And we've seen the Bills do that in the past. But I believe we're going to see a 100-yard rusher tomorrow. And stay with me. There's a reason that I think that we're going to see a 100-yard rusher in this football game tomorrow. I think Josh Allen, from a stat standpoint, I think it's going to be modest, but it's going to be on point. So I see a high completion percentage day from him again. This defense is not good, right? Christian Kirksey is pretty much the only guy. They've got a couple guys they play some man, but I think that this is another one of those situations where we're going to see who the Bills are dictate a defense to do things that they're not used to doing, which anytime you do that, it puts the offense in a situation of winning a lot, right? Because you're asking people to do things they're not used to doing. So I think Josh Allen's going to have a modest day, but he's going to be on point throwing the football, 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 rushing. We've heard a couple of people say 3 touchdowns throwing, 1 rushing. I think Justice said 4 and 1 rushing. So there's been a lot of just we all pretty much know who this kid is, right? But I think he's going to have it's not going to be, how do I want to say it? I don't think it's going to be what we saw in the Washington game or the Pittsburgh game where he's throwing the ball 60 times, right? 60 times. Before I jump any further, it's let me tell you about my best friend.
What's up, man?
Europe.
What's going on?
Europe. It's good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to be here. It's having a great show.
I'm feeling it, dude. Like it's so different doing this show when Josh Allen is who Josh Allen, at least last game, he is who we think he is, and the defense is like better than 2019 versus coming off the Steelers game, and you're like, right?
Yeah. The Steelers game, but that's why I kept saying, like, look, we can't overreact. They have a great defense, and it's the first week of the season. So, like, the thing is, I think all of us, for the most part, nobody predicted the Bills to go 17-0.
Agreed.
So,
agreed.
The losses have to come from somewhere, and I predicted them to lose 4 games this year, and hey, they got to come from somewhere. I thought Fitz was going to start, and I don't think Fitz is better than Josh by any means, but I thought it was one of those games that Washington, based off of what I thought their defense was with Fitz starting, I thought that was going to be the game. So you take Pittsburgh and flip it with Washington. I'm still at this point, where I thought the Bills would be. So I'm not tripping at all.
I'm actually not even worried about Feliciano being out. I'm actually excited to see Bucker play a full game. I'm not worried about Poyer being out, and I'm not worried about necessarily Taron Johnson being out, because there's some young talent, young depth that I think we want to see. Right?
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm not worried either. The thing is, and I'm not saying that I know these guys are injured, because clearly they would be playing. If not, I fully think if Kansas City was this week, Jordan Poyer would be playing. I don't think that there's any. We saw how he was this week. After the game, when we saw how light-hearted he is, there's no way that if this game wasn't a bigger moment. And I know each game matters, but I think for sure he'll be back next week. It's not anything that we should overreact to him not being out. Feliciano, you know how I feel about the way he's been this year. So in a way, it's kind of like, okay, let's see if somebody could step up and show a little bit of something that might kind of challenge him for his job at this point. That's what I'm hoping for. For
sure. What do you got for? Do you have any hot takes for tomorrow outside of Andre Roberts being really good?
Well, no, you know what? I'm hoping that Andre isn't good, because So when they're fielding the ball, our gunners and our special teams players, the other day on the code of conduct, I mentioned how we have 3 of the top 10 special teams players in the league. When you mentioned Saran Neal, Tyler Matakevich, I always say it wrong. I hope I just said it right there.
Matakevich, yep.
Matakevich. And then, you're talking about Tywan Jones, who, by the way, most people in Bills Mafia wanted cut for some weird reason.
I think my first one I had him gone too. Just my first initial roster prediction. Yep.
And it's just like, man, no, you don't cut this guy. But so that to that point, when we're kicking the ball away, I'm not worried about Andre Roberts playing against us. I still, I kind of got my questions as far as our punt and kick return. That's the area that concerns me. But my hot take, I think the Buffalo Bills are like, wait a minute, this is our year. Forget everybody else's year. We won all the records. I think they're going to last week I said it wasn't the opportunity for it to happen. I think Tyler Bass is going to try to break the 66-yarder.
Now it's 66.
Yeah, he just broke the 66, and the Bills just didn't have the opportunity. So I think they're going to go for it this week. I think, especially with the elements the way they are, is going to be like a real dramatic. They got to do something. Tomorrow's all about Tom Brady in New England. The Bills got to make some noise some way.
Dude, I'm excited about that football game.
I'm excited about the emotions behind it, but the game won't be good. No,
I want to see Tom Brady. What is wrong with me that Tom Brady, and I'm just like everybody else on Twitter that's Bills Mafia. Like, I've become a Tom Brady not fan, but like I want to see Tom Brady go into Foxborough and give a giant FU to Bill Belichick, because Bill Belichick is a giant. Pick a word.
Yeah, you could anyone you want to put in there, any adjective. I'm a Tom, but I admit it, I'm a Tom Brady fan. I think I said it last summer. Like, dude, I'm liking Tom Brady. Actually, the moment that I fell in love was when Drew Brees and him after the game, and he was like throwing the touchdowns to his kids and stuff like that. It was like, oh, this guy's just awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, no, but I'm with you. I hope he goes in there, and I hope he, I want New England to lose as many games as possible. You know, especially after they did with my guy Cam. Like, go in there, give them everything that they deserve, man.
That football game is must-see TV, and I'm upset that I have to do a show in the middle of it. Like 9 o'clock, the overreaction post-game show is going to go, and like on my iPad in front of me is going to be that football game, and it's going to be difficult for me because the Texans game, unless something crazy happens, we're going to walk out of it. The Phoenix show was hard to do because that game against the Washington football game was so easy. There was almost nothing to talk about. Right. I expect this game is going to be similar. I might just sit on the overreaction post-game show and talk about the Patriots and
have live commentary. And that would be hilarious. That would be hilarious. But the thing is, I really don't think that game's going to be good either, though. You know, honest to God, I know we want it to be for the sake of the storyline and for content, because we are, even though, like, for instance, these are our Bill shows. We're going to talk about this game this week. Like, there's no way around it.
For sure.
It's not going to be a good game. Like, Tom Brady's going to go in there with vengeance, and he's going to make, like, it's just going to be ridiculous what he's going to do.
For sure. Before I ask you to tell us about what's coming up here at 9 o'clock in 14 minutes, give me your Josh Allen stat line.
I'm going to go, I'm predicting a huge day from Josh. I think,
Big day. Wow.
Yeah, I think he's kind of, I know Deshaun's not there, and I know JJ Watt isn't there, but I think that he has a bad taste in his mouth from that playoff loss, and I think he took it personally. And I'm thinking that the Bills are going to do something real harsh. So I'm going to go with Josh Allen having. I'm going to give him 415 through the air.
Wow, 415. Wow.
I'm going for now. Again, I'm not there, and I don't know how the weather's going to be. I know everybody's talking about how the weather
70 rain, 80% chance of rain every quarter.
I'm not worried about the rain.
I'm not
with Josh.
Dude, if there's a narrative, there's two narratives that I want to go away about Josh Allen. One, crowd noise. Two, weather. Josh Allen 420 is his 420 something is his largest stat day, and that was in Miami last year in the rain.
Yeah.
Let's stop talking
with that
about
being said, I feel like his feelings were hurt. I feel like this was one of those things that really, really stuck with. It was his motivation all last season. So, the way I see it, look, he's coming out and he's going to do something dirty to him. So I'm going 415. I'm going to go 4 touchdowns in the air, 1 or 2 on the ground.
2.
1 or 2. I'll say 1.
My fantasy team likes it.
Yeah, well, he's doing it, man. I'm telling you, this. Look, he's doing it. He's doing it.
Super
man.
good. So in what do we got now? In 12 minutes, you've got a show coming up. Tell everybody what to stick around for at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, stick around. We got the chop up coming up in 12 minutes. Unfortunately, today, K-Gun, Kristen Kimmick won't be with us, and Steros for the girls from Cover One won't be with us either. But I got Warlock coming in to join us. He's going to be talking about a lot of the charity stuff that he does. Angelina's still going to be with me, and I got my homegirl Victoria from the Football Guys joining me. She's going to tell everybody how to fix their fantasy teams if they're starting off slow. She's going to talk about the sleepers on the waiver wires and everything like that. It's going to be a good time. So join us. Warlock, you're not going to want to miss Warlock. Like, Rashawn is one of the best dudes in Buffalo, or part of this Buffalo community. You're not going to want to miss it.
He made everybody cry on the Sal Capaccio Extra Point show when the Pagulas bought the Bills, right? We all cried. So,
yep.
Spence, I love you, man.
Hey, love you, man.
Yeah,
great show.
I appreciate you. I'll talk to you soon. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Later, brother. So before I bring Robbie on, I got Robbie sitting backstage at 716 Sports. Let's talk 716 Sports real quick. I just want to give you the rest of my Bills thoughts. So I think that the Buffalo Bills are going to put some stuff on tape tomorrow. That basically maybe the Texans aren't expecting, and just teams in general aren't expecting. Keep in mind, the Bills know who they're facing in this football game. And when they put this game plan together, not only did they know who they were facing, but they absolutely knew who is coming up next week. So you take 3-4 plays that are a little bit different and you put them on tape, things you haven't run before, especially if they're successful. And all of a sudden the Chiefs are looking at the Buffalo Bills a little bit different. Expect the Buffalo Bills, in my opinion, to be putting something on tape tomorrow that maybe we have not seen before. That's just, if I had a hot take, that's it. On defense, the Buffalo Bills can rush Davis Mills. More than likely, he's going to hold the ball. I expect them to possibly try to hurry him up. But I wouldn't be surprised if we kind of see them try to lull him to sleep a little bit like they did with Taylor Heineke last week. because even when he was corralled in the pocket, last week the Panthers dropped safeties and they didn't allow him, Davis Mills, that is, to basically get anything deep. And in doing so, the Texans scored 9 points. 9 points. 9. If you're a Ferris Bueller's Day Off fan, 9 points. 9. And that was with literally them allowing him all the underneath stuff all day long. He's accurate. He sees the field well. He's going to hit Brandon Cooks. He's going to find those completions. But I think they're going to have a hard time finding the end zone. Expect the Bills, in my opinion, to mix it up and keep the rookie confused in regards to who's coming from a pass rush and when, and potentially from where. We know that the Buffalo Bills have got a lot of speed on defense right now from a pass rushing standpoint. It's going to be exciting to kind of see what the Bills do to him. The Panthers, as I said, played a lot of safeties deep to keep everything in front of them, and the Texans couldn't score. My final score, my prediction for this football game are the Buffalo Bills 42, the Texans 10. Josh Allen, I've got just over 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, passing, 1 rushing. We're going to end the show tonight, as there's so many of you that are in the chat section, so many of you watching this show that are apparently bashful. However, this is going to be my last guest because we've got the chop up coming after this, as you just heard from Jay Spence the King. But Robbie from Talk 716 Sports. What's up, Robbie? Welcome to the show.
Hey, Joe.
How are you, bud?
I'm doing good.
What do you got for me? What do you think is going to happen in this football game tomorrow? You got a hot take?
I think the Bills are gonna win this game like 38-14.
How do they get there? That's a great score, 38-14. Who do you think has the game? Is it Josh Allen? Is it the running backs? Is there a wide receiver that you see having a good game?
I think Stephon Diggs will have a good game this week.
Emmanuel Sanders kind of called it, right? So I don't know if you caught his presser this week, but he said in his presser that, don't worry about Diggs. He's going to have his breakout games. He's going to get his catches, right?
Yeah, and I think Sanders will have a good game too.
If you go by what Jay Spence the King just said, all of our wide receivers are going to have a good game. If Josh Allen throws for 415 yards, 4 or 5 touchdowns through the air, or 4 through the air, and then 2 rushing, I would expect to see, the Josh Allen and all the wide receivers have a very, very good game. I like that. So what you said? What was it? 34-10? Is that what you said? Or 34-14?
38-14.
38-14. That's right. I like that. What do you think? How do you think this defense is going to match up against Davis Mills?
I think that our defense will be good against him.
Yeah. Very good.
We'll keep him in the pocket.
Yeah. Force him into some mistakes. To Justice's point, that somehow they'll do something to him to cause him to throw 3 interceptions.
Yeah.
I like it. Robbie, do me a favor before I let you go. Tell everybody where they can find you and tell them about your content, because Robbie is a podcaster.
Yeah. You can find me on Twitter and also on YouTube.
Yes. And it's at Robbie39 Bowler. What is the 39 for? Is that for Dominic Hasek?
Hasek, Levi Wallace.
Levi Wallace. Gotcha. So whoever wore a 39, but it was probably for Hasek first, right?
Yeah.
I love it. Robbie's got a YouTube show. He's got a podcast. You guys should all jump in and tune into Let's Talk 716 Sports. Robbie, man, thank you so much for being a part of the show, for contributing. I appreciate you, brother.
And shout out to my friend Kate.
Too. Oh yeah, awesome. Brother, can you give me a Go Bills?
Go Bills.
Go Bills. Enjoy that game tomorrow, Robbie. We'll talk to you soon.
You too.
See you, buddy. That was my guy, Robbie. Robbie's a good dude, and Robbie's a lot of fun. And if you get a chance to check out Robbie's stuff, check it out. So this is what we got going on. So coming up right after the show, so in literally less than 5 minutes, this show is going to end, and then there's going to be another blip or another bell or another notification to let you know that the Chop Up is starting with Jay Spence the King and his Chop Up crew. If you are not currently tuned, or I should say subscribed to the Buffalo Rumblings YouTube channel, please subscribe. Click the bell so that you get all the notifications. Tomorrow, 9 o'clock tomorrow, the Overreaction postgame show with me, Joe Miller, the voice of the Overreaction postgame show, brought to you by the Market Dominator, who I am proud to say is starting to finally feel better. John has been struggling with COVID. He is vaccinated, and he's had a relatively difficult time, but he is feeling better from what I've heard from his wife. So that's very good news. Love you, John. Praying for you. Hoping you're feeling better. Hoping you can watch the game tomorrow and enjoy it and cheer on the Buffalo Bills with the rest of us. So tomorrow night, 9 o'clock, Overreaction postgame show. Monday night, 9 o'clock, the Off Tackle with John Fina show. If you're looking for good quality Buffalo Bills content and wrap up from a former player, join me and John Fina Monday night at 9 o'clock. Tuesday night, the Code of Conduct with Jay Spence the King, 9 o'clock. There's like a ringing theme here. This is the only show I do at 8 o'clock. And then Wednesday, hump day, hump that like. Me and Jay Spence the King come at you live at 9 p.m. with the Hump Day Hotline, where we're going to put to bed the Texans game and look forward to the Chiefs game. But ladies and gentlemen, do me a favor. If you have not yet liked this show, whatever platform you're watching, jump on the like button and make sure you subscribe. Appreciate you guys as always. 3 minutes from now, just 3 minutes from now, the Chop Up coming at you. Joe Miller, this has been the time to shine. Love you, Bills Mafia. Go Bills.